"You're just not cut out for this job," Karen said, reclining into her leather chair like a cat stretching in a sunbeam. The glass walls behind her turned the whole office into an aquarium. Curious faces outside, me under the light. The Westridge Hotel needs stronger leadership. I let the sting pass over me like a cold wave and kept my voice level. "You mean the same Westridge Hotel where my redesign trimmed $300,000 off the budget?" Karen flicked her hand as if shooing a fly. "My redesign. I presented it to the board." A patient sigh. "Sophia, supporting me is your job." I nodded once. "Not agreement, notation." "I understand." I slid the resignation folder she'd prepared closer and pushed it back. "I'll leave on Friday." I paused, meeting her eyes. "But Monday will be interesting." She rolled her eyes. "There you go again. Cryptic. A practice smile. This is exactly what I mean. My name is Sophia Vasquez, 49, Senior Project Coordinator at Reynolds Architecture and Design. For 8 years, I shaped problems into possibilities. Hotels that felt like art galleries, community centers that fit like a glove, towers that respected the skyline instead of bullying it. Beauty with purpose, form that respected the budget. That was my obsession. What stood between my work and my name was Karen Mitchell, 41, youngest partner in firm history, and an expert at harvesting credit. She didn't just borrow ideas, she uprooted them, replanted them with her initials on the pot, and posed for photos while the flowers bloomed. As I walked back to my desk, the Hall of Framed Projects tracked me like a biography written in someone else's handwriting. Westridge Hotel, Pinehurst Community Center, Lakeview Towers. All the plaques read Lead Designer, Karen Mitchell. All of them carried my fingerprints. My phone buzzed. "David, Senior Architect. How'd it go?" Me, as expected. "She's pushing me out." David, "That's insane. Her coastal restoration project just won." Her, according to the press release. I opened my drawer and touched the small, discreet insurance policy I'd started months ago. An external hard drive. Original design files, iterations, email chains, timestamps, process notes. Every time Karen's admiration for my work moved an inch closer to erasure, I saved a little more. The desk phone rang. "Sophia," Jenna from reception whispered. "Someone from Archer and Hayes is here to see you. Says it's about the consultation you did." My hand tightened around the receiver. I had never consulted for Archer and Hayes, our biggest competitor. "I'll be right down." In the elevator, a quiet heaviness pooled in my stomach. This wasn't just Karen taking bows from my solos. Something else was moving under the floorboards. The man waiting in the lobby was mid-50s, immaculate suit, careful smile. "James Donovan, Archer and Hayes. Ms. Vasquez, thank you for meeting me." "There's been a misunderstanding," I said evenly. "I have never consulted for your firm." His brow knit. "That's odd. We have preliminary Portland waterfront concepts attributed to you. Karen Mitchell shared them last month. Said you provided consultation." The world tilted by a degree. The Portland waterfront, 50 million of public trust and headline scrutiny. I'd sketched ideas for it on my own time, late nights. A private exercise that stitched together everything I love. Resilience, sustainability, dignity for old buildings and room for the river to breathe. "May I see the designs?" I asked. He turned a tablet toward me. There they were. My elevated green corridors linking historic facades. Flexible plazas designed to reconfigure during flood season. Slight tweaks in line weight and labeling. Someone had combed my hair and called it a makeover. But the bone structure was mine. "These were presented as a collaboration between our firms," James said. "We incorporated several elements in our proposal." The commission seemed enthusiastic. For my work, sold by my boss, to our competitor. "Excuse me a moment." In the restroom, I braced my palms against cool tile and let the new shape of things lock into place. Karen hadn't stopped at internal theft. She'd crossed into something darker. If Portland moved forward under her signature, she'd have to erase me completely. Suddenly, her accelerated push to oust me wasn't personal drama. It was a timeline. My phone vibrated. "All staff meeting at 3 p.m. Special announcement." Of course. Back upstairs, pockets of quiet conversation stilled as I passed. David fell into step beside me. "Harold's flying in," he murmured. "Big news about a transformative partnership." "With Archer and Hayes," I said. His eyes flicked. "How did you—" "James Donovan is downstairs holding my Portland designs." I kept walking. "Karen's been on Portland for months," he protested weakly. "It's why she's a lock for creative director." Click. The last piece of the machine slid into place. She wasn't just expelling me, she was installing herself as the visionary using my blueprint as the crown jewel. An email from HR arrived with mechanical cheerfulness, transition package attached. Friday was now today. The exit ramp had become a trap door. I stared at the external drive in my drawer. On it, original source files with creation dates, iterative exports, screen recordings of design sessions, emails where Karen gushed about your magic on coastal restoration. Enough to bury her. Enough to scorch the earth. But victims who show up with folders get labeled bitter. Thieves who arrive with a smile get labeled leaders. I closed the drawer. Not fear, strategy. I needed the right room, the right witnesses, the right sequence. At 3:00, the conference room filled. Harold stood at the front, silver-haired and tired, flanked by a screen showing Portland waterfront slides, my slides wearing 2 logos. Karen glowed in tailored navy, the color of promotions. "Today," Harold said, "we announce a strategic partnership with Archer and Hayes. This initiative, spearheaded by Karen Mitchell, has already impressed city officials." Karen stepped forward, voice honeyed. "This project embodies resilient urban renewal. Click, my elevated parkways. Click, my flood-season morphable plazas." She spoke in lyrical generalities, carefully avoiding the kind of detail you can't fake. Applause, a photo-op smile. "To lead our next chapter," Harold said, "I'm pleased to name—" I didn't hear the title so much as feel it land on her shoulders like a coronation cloak. "Creative director." The room cheered. Karen's gaze brushed mine with a private warning. "Don't try it." After the meeting, I intercepted Harold. "I need to speak with you about the origin of those designs." "Of course." Karen slid between us, bright and urgent. "Harold, the board call? And we should align on transition details." He checked his watch. "Sophia, tomorrow?" "It concerns authorship," I said, plain and firm. Karen's smile sharpened. "That reminds me, there have been concerns about Sophia's performance." And just like that, we were shepherded into Harold's office where, for 20 minutes, Karen narrated an alternate universe, doctored timelines, vague resource issues, and the pièce de resistance, an insinuation that I had accessed her computer to copy her Portland ideas. "That's a lie," I said, measured. "I have proof." "This isn't productive," Harold cut in, weariness curdling into impatience. "Given the restructuring will accelerate your transition. 2 months severance. Let's keep this dignified." The folder appeared. Clean lines, dirty logic. "Fight us, and we'll salt your reputation." I left with the paper and a steady pulse. In my inbox, a new message blinked. "Portland waterfront. Confidential from an unknown address, stuffed with internal budgets and stakeholder intel." A helpful note. "You should see this. A friend, trap bait, glossy and obvious. If I forwarded it, Karen would have me for espionage by morning." I packed my life into a box under HR's watchful eyes. My kid's tiny succulent. A chipped award. Photos of spaces that still feel like mine even when the plaque says otherwise. The external drive slid into my bag first. Outside, the city was all late afternoon heat and brake lights. I exhaled for the first time all day. At home, I poured a glass of wine I couldn't taste and opened my laptop. Cloud backups, employment law bookmarks, IP protection notes. A knock broke the trance. "David." "I came to check on you." "Karen planned it," I said, handing him a glass. "The firing, the partnership, the promotion. With my work as the motor." "It's worse," he said. "After you left, she told the team you've been stealing her designs for months. She showed emails that looked like they came from you, sending files to outside firms." My mind ran through dates like a detective riffling case files. When, last month, I felt the click in my chest. When I was in Vancouver. She had my login. She seeded the trail. He nodded grimly. People who know you are skeptical. Others, he didn't finish. My phone rang. James Donovan. Ms. Vasquez, given your association with the Portland concepts, our leadership would love to discuss a position. There it was, the final stitch in Karen's narrative. See, she was always aligned with Archer and Hayes. I kept my tone neutral. I'll consider it. Next week. When the call ended, I dug back through old emails and found a small miracle I'd forgotten. A thread from 3 years ago. Karen asking for help on a drowning project, praising the kind of innovative approach that made your coastal restoration a success. Her words. Her admission. My match. By midnight, a strategy had a spine, a timeline, files with untouched metadata, screen captures, client testimonials, clean performance reviews, proof layered like brickwork. Not a flamethrower, foundation. At 8:12 a.m., an email from Harold Reynolds concerning developments regarding Portland. Need to speak immediately. Can you meet? The morning tasted like possibility. We met at a coffee shop near the office. Harold looked smaller, as if the suit had grown overnight. After yesterday's announcement, Portland requested background on the designer's process, he said. They want to feature it in PR. And? I asked, already knowing. Karen couldn't answer their technical questions. One official recognized similarities to your coastal work and asked about your involvement. And what did Karen say? He winced. That you mentored her in sustainable design principles. Despite everything, I laughed. Mentored. That was one word for it. Portland has paused the project pending clarification, he said. The Archer partnership is shaky. Why tell me this? I asked softly. I was terminated, remember? His gaze dropped to the table. Karen insists you took original files. If you return them, I have the originals, I said. And they prove they're mine. He leaned forward. Sophia, the firm's reputation, reinstate me. Clear my record. Remove Karen from anything that touches my designs. Otherwise, I go to Portland directly, and the press. He paled. You'd damage the whole firm too. I'd set the record straight. I held his gaze. Any fallout belongs to the source of the fraud. My phone buzzed with a news alert. Archer and Hayes withdraws from Portland partnership. I turned the screen so he could see. The narrative is already slipping out of your hands, I said. You have one chance to shape what comes next. He stared at his coffee, calculating. What exactly do you want? I told him. Plain, precise. Acknowledgement, authority, accountability. As he left to consult the board, new emails arrived. Archer and Hayes and a Portland city planner, both asking for clarification and inviting my direct input. The current had turned. The woman who couldn't answer how the system worked was about to meet the person who built it. Monday had, indeed, become interesting. If you're hooked so far, give this a like. It really helps the channel. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this. And tell me in the comments, what would you do in Sophia's place right now? The following morning, I walked into Reynolds with a different kind of weight in my bag. The external drive, the email chain, the timeline. My proof was no longer a backup plan. It was ammunition. The office buzzed with rumors. Whispers trailed me like shadows. Did you hear? Karen's got Portland locked down. Harold's grooming her for something bigger. Sophia? She's on her way out. But here's the thing about whispers. They change direction quickly once the truth enters the room. By noon, I had a meeting scheduled with Harold and 2 board members. Karen was already inside, polished as ever, her voice dripping sugar as I entered. Ah, Sophia, glad you could join us. We were just reviewing your transition package. I placed my laptop on the table, the drive already connected. Before we finalize anything, there's something you all need to see. Karen's smile faltered for a flicker of a second. Just long enough. Really, Sophia? More dramatics? This is exactly why. Click. My screen lit up with timestamps, raw sketches, metadata entries. I narrated carefully, How each file evolved, the iterations that showed my hand, my style, my late-night labor. Then I pulled up the forgotten email thread where Karen herself admitted, "Need your magic touch." "Your coastal project was genius." The board members leaned forward. Harold's jaw tightened. Karen pounced. "Fabrications. Anyone can doctor timestamps. She's grasping because she can't accept accountability." I met her eyes. "Then explain why Archer and Hayes contacted me directly yesterday, confused about the authorship of my designs." Silence. Heavy. The kind that draws every eye in a room to the person squirming. One of the board members cleared his throat. "Karen, can you provide the same level of process documentation Sophia just showed us?" Her hand tightened around her pen. "Of course, I just don't have it on me." Of course she didn't. By mid-afternoon, the pressure shifted. Portland officials demanded technical clarifications. Archer and Hayes grew restless, reconsidering their partnership. And Harold, torn between loyalty to his youngest partner and the avalanche of evidence, began to hesitate. Karen sensed her kingdom wobbling. That night, she struck back with the precision of a cornered predator. She circulated emails, fake ones, supposedly from my account, showing me sending design files to competitors. She framed me as the very thing she was, a thief. David showed me the screenshots in disbelief. "She's turning your defense into her offense. Even people who like you are second-guessing." I sat in my kitchen, wine glass untouched, realizing just how far she'd gone. Not just credit theft, not just sabotage. She was erasing me entirely, past, present, and future. But Karen had overplayed. She thought framing me would end this. Instead, it lit the fuse. Because now I wasn't just fighting for recognition. I was fighting for survival, and I had something she didn't. Patience. Proof. And nothing left to lose. If this betrayal has you boiling, hit that like button. It fuels the fire for more stories like this. Make sure you're subscribed, so you don't miss the revenge part that's coming. And tell me in the comments, have you ever had someone steal credit for your work? Tuesday morning, the conference room was packed. Board members, Archer and Hayes executives, Portland city officials, everyone Karen had been dazzling with my stolen brilliance. Karen sat at the front, tension carefully disguised beneath flawless posture, and a navy dress that screamed authority. Harold cleared his throat. "We're here to address concerns about authorship regarding the Portland waterfront project." Karen rose smoothly, smile rehearsed. "Let me clarify. While Sophia contributed occasional input, the concepts..." "Actually," I interrupted, connecting my laptop to the projector. "Let me show you." For 20 minutes, I laid it all bare. File trees, metadata with dates predating Karen's so-called breakthroughs, emails with her praising my coastal project as my work, side-by-side comparisons of my sketches against the polished renderings Archer and Hayes had been sold.